Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of Not a Laughing Matter. Got Pat back this time. It's been a minute. Life has been lifing. Everybody's been sick, it seems like. So, finally got a little free time and a little feeling a little bit better. So, maybe we'll jump right in. How you been, man?
Good, just like you say, been sick. Went through it for about 2 weeks, and it was rough. Better now though, good to go.
Yeah, that's about the same I've been. It feels like it's been 2, 3 weeks since I've been coughing every day and all day, and now we got a little bit of fun stuff going on. The money's flying around. Juan Soto just
Yep,
signed 15 years, 765 with the Mets.
big signing.
What you think
That's
about that? Since
that's
that's what you said was going to happen.
yeah, I got lucky and nailed that one, I guess. I just think it was the big city lights, just like with the Yankees. Like I think he wants to play somewhere big. It's just I don't think the Yankees were it for him. I don't know why. You would think in that short park to right, hitting in front of Judge, perfect scenario. As well as kind of a down AL East right now, in my opinion, minus them and the. I say down because usually every team in that division is solid, and right now you have two in the Jays and the Rays that are kind of dragging. So I mean, I figured that would be perfect, but just something told me New York Mets with Lindor, um, some of the other guys there, but mainly Lindor. Just felt like for some reason him and Lindor had a connection or hit it off, and one of those deals where somebody he would want to play with. But
Yeah,
in
yeah, I could see
the
that.
grand scheme of things, probably just a lucky guess.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like hitting in front of Judge was going to be the turning point, but I not saying Vientos can't get to All Star caliber and maintain that, but I don't know that he'll ever get to the level of Aaron Judge.
Right.
Um, and now it makes me feel like Pete Alonso is as good as gone.
I think maybe you see now them let Alonso roll and maybe try and sign a Christian Walker. Um, which I think in the previous conversation we had, he was mentioned probably by both of us as a possible candidate there, but we both thought they'd for sure sign Alonso back. But I could see them targeting him now or just letting him walk and, like you say, leave it to Vientos to see what happens. But they're floating around now trading Beatty. So if they trade Beatty, I mean, that goes your potential third baseman. So now you move Vientos to 1B and you got to try and find you a 3B. And right now, that market is, as we discussed the last time, super thin. There's really nobody there.
Do you think Acuna could play third? Louis Angel
Um, Possibly. He's smaller in stature, so
or McNeil and put
I
him
don't know
over at
that.
second?
Yeah, I don't know that you would throw him at third unless you just had to, or unless it's something that you were going to do trial by fire. But um, I definitely think Acuna is going to have a spot somewhere at least to start with. You know, if he struggles, I can see them kicking back down pretty quickly. But I think they're going to give him a run to start with. It's interesting. I don't know which way they go from here without kind of taking a deeper dive into things, but
Well,
I would think they make a. I would think if they're trading Beatty or looking to trade Beatty, then they're planning on making some sort of run at somebody at 1B, leave Vientos at 3B, just because the 1B market is a little bit deeper than third base.
yeah, I could. Um, I did see something the other day, and I can't remember if it was on YouTube or if it was on X or whatever that had a projected um, lineup for the Mets that had Vientos at first base. I just wish I could remember who said it, who had it, uh, but I don't. So, um,
Let's see, who does it? Trying to remember who they may even have. Um,
Maybe they make a run at Ha-Seong Kim and slide him to third. I think he's versatile enough to play.
Oh, nope, never mind. I knew I was forgetting somebody. How about Ronnie Mauricio?
Yeah,
I think he's going to be your 3B.
I looked at him a second ago.
Because if you remember, I've been on him for several years now, thinking he's the next thing. Like even when Ellie De La Cruz was coming along. If you remember, I was on Mauricio.
Yeah, and it could be. It very well could be him. Beatty hasn't performed when he's been up there really anyway. Not to the level of Vientos for sure. So it'd be interesting. Mauricio is young. He's 23. He's got a long, tall body, but he's a little slender, according to this, at 166. But, I mean, you can always – if he packs on 14, 15 pounds of muscle and 180, it's a pretty solid frame right there.
Well, even at that size right now, power has not been an issue. But he also is, from what I can recall, he's a little bit slower base runner speed-wise, which means you typically wouldn't want him to translate as your second baseman for range purposes, but you throw him at third and let him go. So now you're running Mauricio at 3B, Lindor at short, Acuna at second base, and Vientos at 1B. Outfield of Nemo, Siri, Marte, and sprinkle in some McNeil, some Tyrone Taylor.
Yeah.
It's really not any worse than it was the previous year running it that way, I don't feel like.
No.
They didn't get anything from Beatty.
No, he wasn't good. I think the signing of Soto helps get Nemo out of the field too. I don't know that he's made for the outfield at this point, especially center field. So adding Siri was big from that perspective.
Because I want to say Beatty only hit probably like 220, 230, 220, somewhere in there, 220,
229 last year. 544 at bats in his career, which is a full season sample. Basically, he's got 15 home runs and a 215 average. So it's not
the prospect they deemed him to be.
No. When you think Vientos had that in about 2 months last year with the 15 home runs.
Right.
He got in a little hot stretch. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, now if he holds, then they don't lose just a ton of 1B production from him to Alonso.
No, I don't know that Vientos.
And now you add the bat of Soto in.
Where does Soto slot into the order?
I think he's got to hit 3. I could see them pushing him at 2, but I think he's got to hit 3 because Lindor is going to lead off, and then if he can handle the bat at the big league level, Acuna would be a great 2-hole guy to back up another speed bat with a little bit of pop behind Lindor, as well as now you give the youngster protection with Soto behind him.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna pitch around a speed guy of his caliber to get to a Soto or potentially add a base runner in front of Soto. So he should see a ton of fastballs in that case. And I think both of those, sandwiching him in between Lindor, giving him a guy in front of him that gets on at a pretty high clip, as well as in front of now Soto in the 3-hole, you give him some protection. So you should give him pitches to see. He's an aggressive swinger anyway, as it is. So I think that situation would help the young man maybe excel to his highest potential in quote year 1, since he didn't get enough ABs last year, I don't think, to break the rookie threshold.
I don't think so either.
Probably got roughly 50 at bats, maybe.
I hate it. But they're still beatable with the pitching they have at the moment.
Well, y'all's offense is still better than theirs from top to bottom, even with Soto added in.
Could be.
I mean, y'all y'all's first 5 bats you run out there, nobody other than maybe the Phillies in that division can probably match or touch.
And the
Because you're running
Phillies
out.
talking about trading Bone, talking about trading Castellanos. I don't know why. I think the pitching staff's just fine. I'd run it back if I was them, but
Yeah, because I mean, y'all's first 5 you're running out there is going to be Acuna 1. You're probably going to go Albies in the 2 hole. Your 3 hole is going to be Riley. 4 hole Olson, and 5 hole Ozuna, or any of those 3 through 5 can now flip and switch around depending on matchups or who's hot at that point in time. Like y'all's first 5 is the best offensively in that division. It don't matter in my opinion if they added Pete back somehow, then maybe you start to get in that conversation. But then even still, your first 5 to their 5 doesn't match. But their big 3 in Lindor, Soto, Pete probably would match with your big 3 then. So it starts to narrow the gap some, but
I still think our pitching would beat them with or without Fried. When you're talking Strider, Lopez was amazing last year. Who am I forgetting?
You had Strider, Lopez.
I'm forgetting somebody I shouldn't.
Yeah, Sale, Swellenbach.
Sale. Yeah, the 3 S's.
You got ASS possibly contributing this year. You got Waldrop as a potential, say, midseason call up possibly.
He's got to find his control.
Yeah, but I mean, y'all have options, and you have some solid options. Y'all will still have a huge offense with still a legitimate number 1 starting pitcher in Sale. If once healthy, a legitimate 1A in Strider.
Schwellenbach, deal.
Y'all are still, to me, in my mind, I know this past season didn't quite go the way y'all wanted because of injuries, etc. But y'all are still the cream of the crop in the East, in my mind. Atlanta's still number 1 team. It's just a matter of everybody staying healthy.
I wish we could have replaced Arcia. Another pick that you hit on the head was going to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I would have
y'all did replace Arcia, though. Y'all did replace Arcia.
With who?
Man, y'all scooped up Nick Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Stud.
Ace legend.
Stud. All 5'6" of him, I think it is, or something like that.
I mean, we added David Fletcher last year and turned him into a knuckleball pitcher. I'm sure Allen's on the fast track to throw a knuckleball soon.
Or be your bat boy at 5'8", 166.
I don't think I would have wanted to pay Adames $7 for 182. As much as a fan of him as I am, that's a lot.
Yeah, not for what y'all already have. If y'all didn't have something if y'all's offense was struggling already, similar to the Giants' offense, then yeah, it would make sense. Y'all got enough bats though. Like, save that money for pitching.
If we go out,
whether it be bullpen, whether it be another starter, save it. Yeah.
I think
y'all do have somebody in Alvarez that could surprise maybe. And maybe pick up not where he left off per se at MLB level last year, because that didn't go well at all. But the guy hit well in the minors.
Yeah, he was good enough to get the quick call last year. So I think he's going to be a trade piece if we do decide to go somewhere, be it Chicago again. I would love to see Luis Robert come over and play left field. If you do that and you think about the lineup at that point, and you mentioned the top 5, and you didn't even mention Michael Harris, who won the dang Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's going to be hitting 7th if you add somebody like Luis Robert, Harris is banging 8-hole, you know, or Albies is banging 7-8-hole.
That's right.
That's possibly the deepest lineup in baseball outside of maybe the Dodgers.
Well, and that's what I was just looking at. Like, if at the end of the day, Arcia is your 7 through 9 slot, wherever he may fill in, hitting 220, with the other 6 to 7 guy bats y'all have in the lineup, so what? Like,
and even
as long
Murphy,
as he give you, as long as both of them, as long as him and Murphy give you quality defense in the field, and they give you quality at bats, the result may not show that, but they give you quality at bats. Like, they can work the count sometimes. Murphy's definitely going to run into probably 20 during the year. So if you just get defense out of those,
this year with TDA gone.
Yeah, if you just get some defense from those guys, the other 6 or 7 guys are going to handle the offense for you.
Yeah. Speaking of the Dodgers, I don't know if you saw, they just signed Michael Conforto. It was earlier today, I believe.
I didn't, but they just keep getting anybody and everybody they want. So it's like, at this point, what's it matter?
Yeah, it's a little unreal.
On that topic, though, I'll tell you what I saw or what I've seen is there's behind the scenes chatter that there are several GMs highly pissed off, irritated, whatever you want to call it, at the way Dodgers are doing business currently. And that is supposedly going to be one of the main topics brought up at meetings.
I think they start this week.
That's going to be interesting to see how that goes. How some of these GMs react in a face-to-face setting, in a conversation setting. In that regard. Now, in the Dodgers' sake, it's like with any GM, man. You gotta do what's best for your organization. And if you have found the loophole or the way to get by with it, then you run it until somebody puts a stop to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not illegal against the rules of baseball. It's just not a good look from a fan perspective of the other 29 teams that's not doing it as prevalent as they are.
That's right.
It's obviously been done before.
When you see stuff like that, like when Ohtani did it, and you find out they're only paying him $2 million a year, you kind of go, man, that's bad baseball. But then you're like, all right, well, it's just one guy.
Yeah.
But now it's like everybody they signed that's of any relevance. It's like $60 million, 3 years, but we're pushing $55 million of that to after the contract's over with. We're only going to pay him $3 million for the next 4 years. It's like,
and you're
getting away with that to get around the luxury tax, but nobody else is.
Yep. I mean, they're getting the full benefits of everybody and everybody's contract without having to pay anybody or pay any money that's going to go to the A's or Tampa or Kansas City or whatever. So, I mean, whatever. Until it's stopped, it's theirs, and they're doing it, and they're doing it well.
That's right. Like I say, it'll be interesting to see what the meetings go down or what comes from the meetings. I'm sure because of the way they are handling business right now, within the next couple of years, something is going to be put into place to where if they continue to allow it to happen, there's at least going to be some sort of stipulations on it or ways to, you can only push it out for 2 years past the initial contract signing or something of that nature. Like, it won't be where you can drag this thing out for 10 years from now.